It features a sassy know-it-all brunette girl, an Asian LeVar Burton wannabe. It has a surprisingly awkward and vulnerable minority boy, and an elephant who looks like he came from Dumbo's Circus, the Disney Channel version. And yet, we're here to do something that we have not done in a very long time on the channel. The Skeleton Crew review is on the way, and we have to say, unbelievably, it's not bad. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are so glad to have you here with us. It is an honor every time you elect to share your time with us on your screen, your device, wherever we are with you. What a joy to be there today. Folks, as we get ready to get underway, we ask that you click that like button, and we have the distinct pleasure of finally pulling that lever that says, Lucasfilm, you did okay this time. Let's start the review right now. And all four of our panelists here have viewed the first two episodes. Jonas, would you give us a quick rundown, a recap of what we've been seeing?
Sure. I'm going to tell you right off the bat, I actually watched the show and enjoyed it quite a bit. So I'm just telling you right now, I'm not going to be giving this one a low rating. So you have this guy on the right, which I don't know that I ever actually caught his name. He is a kid in some kind of a society that is obviously connected to the Star Wars galaxy in some way, but he's not a Jedi. He's not living on a weird dust planet somewhere. He's just a kid. He's got his friend Neil. They are doing their average kid stuff when one day
they live in Montana, Jonas. They live in Montana in the year 2500.
Space Montana. Yes, that's right. They're going to school one day, and the kid is late. It's testing day, and it is a big deal for this assessment. Sorry, because nothing is called by its normal name in the Star Wars galaxy. So he takes his bike right here, and he tries to take a shortcut to get to school. On the way to that, he accidentally falls into a ravine, a small ravine. And there he finds the remains of some kind of what he thinks is a Jedi temple.
Is that a heffalump?
That's an ortolan, you fiend. You know what that is.
I do, but it looks like a heffalump.
Wait, so what race is Max Rebo, which is not this?
Yes, it is. That's an ortolan.
They've said that he's not an ortolan.
Well, not an ortolan. There's no such thing as an ortolan.
Okay, I'm sorry if I didn't get the exact combination of consonants, but
when you
whatever
come for
Max
the king,
Rebo
Jonas,
is,
you better not miss.
They're
Guard
saying,
your phonemes, sir.
Sorry, I don't mean to be a jizz whaler here, but
if that's not an ortolan, then I don't know what it is, because it looks pretty darn close.
they've said he's not the same species as Max Rebo, which is news to me. Also, I'm not sure that Max Rebo has a nose at the end of whatever that snout thing is. Whereas this kid right here, you actually do see his mouth move in some of the shots when his head is tilted back. Anyways, the kid finds something that he believes is a Jedi temple or something like that, and ends up sneaking out in order to find it. During the course of this, there's this girl here on the right, the brunette, and another girl.
American accent Ray is what we're calling her, correct?
Oh, let's not put the Ray thing on her.
Okay. We won't do that.
I get it. She is more accomplished than anyone else here. She's an overachiever.
What color is her hair, Jonas?
She is a brunette. But I will say that there are people who are correct and have good qualities for ignoring what she says. So there's a thing about Ray where Ray doesn't do anything wrong. I would say whatever the name of this character is over here, she's not perfect, and everyone doesn't defer to her on things. So she's not a Mary Sue, because one essential element of the Mary Sue fan fiction that we often that whole trope is based off of is that you had members of Starfleet deferring to the teenage Mary Sue because they all of a sudden lost all of their competency. This is a character who stands on her own with in my opinion, 4 characters who are doing their own thing regardless. So
Well,
With
I'm
such,
not,
with
I'm
such
not going to
great
put the
li-
Mary Sue
with such
thing on
great
her.
lines as "These boys are dumb and no boys allowed."
Right. That's
she also has a
insufferable.
sidekick who
Which
we're going to call Asian girl LeVar Burton. Is that okay? Can
I'm
that
okay
be
with
her?
that. I'm
Okay.
okay with that.
I was calling her Storm Cyclops.
That'll work too. Cyclops.
The thing that I'm seeing, first of all, she's not the main character, which is already working against the idea that she's a Mary Sue. No one is going, oh, wow, she's the best, which they tend to do with Ray. She's not sitting there waiting for everyone to figure out how smart, well, she is. If she is, she's doing it in a way that is adds to the depth of her character. She actually has flaws. Anyways, I'm not trying to
All right.
say she won't be, but I don't like Mary Sue on this
So
one.
they get on the ship, they click some buttons, things happen, it takes off. The dad sees the son, he yells, yeah, and the kids all yell, yeah, and they take off in their little pirate ship. Droid wakes up, they land on Pirate Island, they find out wacky hijinks ensue, and they're from some sort of planet that shouldn't exist, and they run across a Jedi in jail. Bingo, bango, bongo, let's move on. It's time to play the fun, wacky game. Hey, Lorne, what's that critter? Lorne, are you ready for the game? What's that critter?
Hold on here. There was a lot of really cool things in there that you just skipped over.
We'll come back. Hold on just a second. Lorne, what is this green Furby in the front?
Oh, you're talking about him? I don't know. I think he's new.
Parrot.
You know, we get you on the show. It's one thing. Okay, Lorne, what about Teen Wolf? He's the bad guy.
That's a
It's a
Shistavan and
Shistavan.
Wolfman.
I was going to say
What?
it. Yeah.
A
I actually
Shistavan and
know how to
Wolfman.
pronounce that one.
Shistanaman?
Shistavanen.
Shistavanen Wolfman.
Yeah, there's one
Correct.
of those in the Mos Eisley Cantina. Yeah.
Yeah, but he
Somebody just called her Mary Sue Hermione, and I laughed.
Yeah, Hermione's nicer, which is really saying something.
Lorne, what other species of interest did you see?
There were several Weequay. There were a bunch of new ones. I actually really liked a lot of the creature designs in this show. I thought there were some great ones on Port Bordeaux, and that's kind of exciting. In spite of myself not really having a lot to anticipate from this show, it kind of won me over a little bit. I don't think this is the thing that's going to save Star Wars, but I think for a good kids adventure show so far, it's gotten off on the right foot. It's got the right vibe. I'm interested to see more.
All right, Jonas, what did we leave out of the synopsis that was important to say? Tell the audience out there.
The show is actually pretty well done.
You know, Jonas, that is the review part. We're in the synopsis part. You're supposed to tell us what happened. You're not supposed to tell us qualitatively what you thought of it.
Well, you say they turn on the ship and they go out and they do the thing. There's also a droid character, which this is the first time in a long time that I've actually liked the droid character. He for some reason he talks like this when he's going around the ship looking for a captain. You know,
He's a pirate, mate.
yeah.
Abso-flogging-lutely.
There's a scene where he trounces a group of about 5 people, and it's believable and not ridiculous. But
honestly, I think this droid's going to be right up there with HK-47 if they keep him up like this.
Really
I think,
good stuff.
Wait,
yeah,
What if they programmed him to be Bob Hoskins as Mr. Smee from Hook?
Oh,
I could have gone for that.
that would be cool. The powering up of the ship. It is as if the Goonies wandered into Star Wars. That is essentially how I view this, because this is both not Star Wars, but it is also the closest that Lucasfilm has gotten to the feel of a George Lucas, Steven Spielberg style collaboration here. John Favreau and John Watts did a fantastic job of creating a feel here. When the ship powers up, it powers up slowly and across the screen. I actually felt a spirit of adventure while watching this that I have not associated with Star Wars in a very long time. They have something here that they have not been able to accomplish at Lucasfilm for a long time. So those rumors that Lucasfilm doesn't like this show and didn't understand what to do with this show, I think that's actually an indictment of Lucasfilm.
And you know, I think part of it may be too is that you have this relationship between Wendell and Wim, and Wim is feeling stifled by his dad, who is not there so much because he's working all the time, but he's leaning on his son to do well in his studies. And his kid just wants to go off and have an adventure. Well, now he's going off and having an adventure, and he's been ripped away from his dad. And he's not feeling that yet, but his dad certainly is. And that's going to be a big part of the show, I think, is that longing to get back to your family. And that's a good message. That's a great message.
I think one of the more interesting elements of the show is a society that doesn't have space flight suddenly being thrust into the middle of the Star Wars galaxy. I think that's kind of a cool concept. We've not seen like a first contact situation before in like a mainline Star Wars series.
And is it first contact, or is there something weird going on?
That's what I think too. But it also makes the suburban Montana of 2500. It makes that setting a little better, because at first I thought this is a wee bit too familiar in places. It's too much like, the heartland of America. It doesn't feel as Star Wars as it needs to. But then if this planet is some kind of weird, anomaly, then okay. So let's just go ahead, because I don't want to keep the audience waiting. Let's just go ahead and say what we think about it in terms of, I'll give it a review score, and then we can discuss more of why we're doing that. I think that's more interesting at this point, because I don't think we're going to do the typical thing that we've had to do with Lucasfilm projects and just sit here and bash it. That's not going to happen. I think that the first 2 episodes for me are an 8 out of 10. I think it's pretty darn good. I need the emotional hook. I'm wondering if the dad is going to do a Marlin from Finding Nemo. Like, is he going to take off and break the rules to leave the protection area? Like, does it put the planet at risk because now it's found by all the pirates? I don't know, but those are interesting things that could happen. It's not Star Wars in the sense of it doesn't make me think of Tatooine. It doesn't make me think of Luke. It doesn't make me think of any of those things. I think of the Goonies. But I have to judge this based on its quality as it is. I can't say, well, is it Star Wars? And really, I can't say that because I only have 2 of 8 episodes? Is it 8 episodes, Jonas?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. It's an 8 out of 10 so far in the first 2 episodes. It's better than anything Lucasfilm has released on Disney Plus, except for the final 2 episodes of The Mandalorian Season 2. It's the best thing they've released, and not by a little, except for those 2 episodes, the final episodes of Season 2 of The Mandalorian.
Well, you know what? I think this is one of the first things that they have done in a very long while that's not trying to bank on any kind of nostalgia like for Star Wars. It's trying to capture a very specific kind of film genre, which we've never seen attempted in Star Wars before. But it's not like, hey, remember Yoda? Remember lightsabers? Like, it's not doing any of that. It's actually just trying to do something new. And you know what? It was like, other than the insufferable girl boss, I was pretty okay with most of what they did.
I'm going to throw in here. I think I saw a teak from the Ewok movies. That was there. The little thing that wanted to tip wasn't he from Caravan of Courage?
Looks similar. I can't tell for sure if it's the same species.
Did you guys like the Star Tours reference?
Sorry, Battle of Endor. Yes, with Rex right there but they didn't. It didn't sound like. Was that Paul Rubens?
It was not.
It was not.
This was done after he passed away.
Yeah, I wish they could have got a sample.
It also appeared that there was a reference to the Star Wars Holiday Special with the Holovid that was playing, Lauren.
Which is kind of funny considering a conversation that I had with Marvin and crew last week.
We had a whole talk about the Holiday Special.
And that was actually, but that scene there is exactly one of them that we were talking about, which was kind of cute. It actually does lead to one of my quibbles about the show, is that they're going to have to explain how this planet is simultaneously traded with the Republic, has Republic currency, is aware of the Republic and the Jedi, and yet is seemingly mythological and cut off from the rest of the galaxy. The other
Does it have
problem that I
public
see,
currency, Lauren? Because the currency that they were using, everybody seemed to think it was like super valuable, like it was some kind of super rare mineral.
Or did it
well,
come
they,
from the ship, or did it come from the?
that was his lunch money that was given to him by Wendell, and what they
Yeah.
referred to it as was Old Republic dactaries, which is the same thing that Watto was dealing with in the Phantom Menace. But if you looked at some of the currency, it also had some of it Imperial stamped, so it's actually a mix of currency between the Republic and the Empire.
And
It's
didn't they call their planet like the lost planet of infinite treasure or something like that? Like, did they do one of those like dark side things where from Zack Snyder's Justice League where he showed up, found the anti-life equation, and then forgot where it was?
Yeah, that's kind of the interesting thing here. The other thing that is kind of a plot hole for me, but I mean, for the show to even happen, I get why they're doing it. Is that okay? They've jumped the ship to hyperspace. They've lost their planet. They don't know where they're at. But to get to Port Borgo, you have to know to get there from where you started from. So they obviously have at least one fixed point in the galaxy. The other thing is, your Navicomputer keeps a record of your previous jumps. All you got to do is look at your log, and you should be able to backtrack where you jumped from. They should not really have a difficult time figuring out how to get back to their planet. So I'm curious to see if somebody thinks about that. Other than that, those are really my only quibbles so far.
Well, let me ask this, because this is what's fascinating to me. So all four of us, it sounds like we agree that these first two episodes, at least, and they can ruin it, right? I mean, who knows? In episode 3, they may mock Luke Skywalker. You never know. But in the first two episodes, I think all four of us are agreeing, this is really good. And we're shocked. Like, we can't believe we're saying this, but we're also fair. But here's what's fascinating. As we brought up earlier, Lucasfilm, it's been leaked that they don't like Skeleton Crew. And yet we do so far. So the question is, how are audiences going to react? Because if we like this, are the unhinged crazies out there who defend the Acolyte and the Raylos, like, are they going to like this? Or are they going to realize that we like it and then they're going to have to hate it? Like,
Yes,
how is this going to play out narratively?
Yeah, because the crazies are going to fixate on these children in a weird way and try to like
they better not.
They're going to try to push their lifestyles on them and stuff like that, and try to say like, oh, this one likes this one and that one likes that one, and it's what they're going to do. There's going to be memes about like, I would die for the elephant boy and things like that.
Oh, leave the kids alone.
Well, actually, what's funny is the people that were there are more of us people that did that very cringy and wonderful video. I mean, it was wonderful. I relish the emotion of watching all of those people realize that no, there are not more of you. Those were the ones that were saying, they were posting pictures of the kids and saying, you people better not bully these kids. I'll tell you what, they did a great job casting these kids, because I wasn't sitting there another Star Wars series that we've referenced that happened to have child performances in them. I could not stand the line delivery. Really, those kids were not trained on the lines that they were supposed to be reading. I didn't have any problem with
act.
And that's the biggest hurdle to get over when you have a show like this, to have child performers. And the other thing is, this show is several years old at this point, so maybe it all falls apart in episode 3, and they're just
better actors. Jonas, they're better actors than the adults in Ahsoka, Boba Fett, Acolyte. These 8-year-olds are better than storied actors.
The other thing is that they're actually written like kids of their age. The dialogue, while childish, is exactly the kind of dialogue that kids playing have in real life, which is part of why it works. Are you trying
to say, Lauren, that little kids don't just start randomly torturing butterflies in the middle of the woods, and they're like, let them go, May?
Well, there's going to be some kids that do that, but hopefully you're not hanging around. And again, this is not the thing that's going to save Star Wars. It's certainly not. But I didn't find anything objectionable about it. I've got a soft spot for pirates. The performances were good, and I would dare say better than what I expected
Lauren,
so far.
you like the Sostafarian Wolfman?
Well, Sostafarian?
Shistavinin? He's Pastafarian.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, yes, I love the all of the creature effects too, which is something that I feel like we get a little bit shafted on in a lot of these shows, and I think a lot of that is because usually there's a budget associated with that. It's hard to do a lot of creature effects, but they did it here. I liked it. I think they have some things to explain, but I think that they have some time to do that. And as long as they do explain it in some way that makes sense, okay, let's see what you got.
Why did it take this long for us to get a Star Wars show where there are aliens? Like every Star Wars show on Disney Plus has felt like, hey, here's 50 diverse characters as Americans would determine to be diverse. And in the background, here's one ridiculous looking alien for every 50 diverse DEI picks. Here's an alien in the back corner doing nothing.
I think a lot of it does come down to budget. I mean, you've got two things. You've got to puppeteer these creatures if they're practical effects, and there's a lot of technique involved in that too. So that's not an easy thing to do. But I'm happy they did it. And I thought that a lot of the creature designs that they had looked really good. So, if the show...
You're a Jaleel White fan, and as soon as Jaleel came on the screen, you raised your hands in the air and said, finally.
I did, because I was like, oh my God, Urkel in Star Wars, it's happening.
If the show does go sideways, if it goes bad, I'll be happy to call it out. But so far, I liked it. And there's very little Star Wars content that I can say that about these days. So I'm happy to be able to say that for a change.
Let everyone take a pause and just notice. What have we been saying for years on this channel? Had this channel started in 2012, you would have heard a very different theme throughout what we said for a while. Because for quite a few years, Disney was on a roll, and they didn't make stupid decisions. Sometime around 2015, 2016, they decided they were going to throw away their audience, throw away their morals, throw away their values. Folks, we've never changed. We've never waffled. We're still the same as we've always been. And here's the deal. When it's good, it's good. So far, it's an 8 out of 10. Lauren, what would you score the first 2 episodes if you had to give them numerical 0 to 10?
I'm not going to give it that high. I think that I'd probably give it a 7 or a 7.5 to start, and then we'll see where it goes. I'm not going to call this an unequivocal win.
I agree.
But compared to the slop that we've been getting, I'm very surprised. This was not what I expected.
Stop, May. Don't do that, May. Marvin, what do you give it? Scale 0 to 10.
Gosh, I mean, I was really, really annoyed by the one they were all calling Mary Sue Hermione.
All right, give it low score. We don't care, man. Be honest.
I'm probably gonna say just because I've been burned before. I mean, I enjoyed this as a concept. I liked the majority of the characters. I'm interested to see what happens with Jude Law. I mean, are they really going to have like a male Jedi in like a leadership mentoring role and not make him a terrible person?
He's not a Jedi.
Yeah, I have a feeling there's going to be something about that as well.
Well, but he is obviously the guy in the mask from the first episode.
Of course, yeah, he was their captain, but he's probably got force powers.
I thought he was just Teen Wolf after he shaves.
I'm gonna go 6 out of 10, but I mean, like, if this girl doesn't chill out and have some character growth very soon, I'm gonna get real annoyed real fast.
See, and this is the thing. Later on, we may come back and we may be like, yeah, they did it to us again. But Marvin always knew. Or we could come back later, folks, and say, how about that? They actually did something good for once. And then Marvin will have to slightly bump up his score. We don't know yet.
I'd be happy to. I want to be entertained. Trust me. It's much more fun to like things than it is to hate them. So
just think what we've suffered through. Just think about the shows we've suffered through. Would it not be nice? Would it not be nice to have something that we can praise from Disney for once? It'd be nice. Jonas, you don't like numerical scores. So thumbs up or thumbs down, Jonas?
Thumbs on just these 2 episodes. Thumb way up.
Okay.
Now, that being said, if they keep going at the same quality level that they're going now, I might actually let my kids watch Star Wars at this point.
Be careful, sir. Be careful. And that's a wrap, ladies and gentlemen. We are done for now, but don't worry. Do not fret. Not yet, for more content is still coming your way 4 times a day right here on the Pro Channel. What a joy it has been to share our time with you. We hope you feel the same. Adding value to your every single day is our job here, and we take it very seriously. Folks, the only thing we ask in return is that you consider clicking that like button. Share, subscribe, click it. Stick it to those algorithms. It's the notification bell. And drop a comment right on down below. And folks, if you'd like to subscribe to our partner YouTube channels, That Park Place, That Pod Place, That Game Place, and some of those radio stations like Vacation Radio, well, we certainly would appreciate it. Until the next time we have the honor of spending time and being invited into your day, folks, we go on our way saying this: keep learning, keep growing, and as always, keep having fun.